So next up, we are going to move on and talk about search engine optimization. So how do you get your website to the top of Google results pages? Okay. So firstly, what I'd like to do is just start off with a video. This is actually from Google, but who could explain it better than Google themselves? So this is their sort of explanation video just on how their algorithm is actually working, how it's ranking pages. So just have a listen to this, and then I'll be back with you in a minute or two's time.
Every day, billions of people come here with questions about all kinds of things. Sometimes we even get questions about Google search itself, like how this whole thing actually works. And while this is a subject entire books have been written about, there's a good chance you're in the market for something a little more concise. So let's say it's getting close to dinner and you want a recipe for lasagna. You've probably seen this before, but let's go a little deeper. Since the beginning, back when the homepage looked like this, Google has been continuously mapping the web, hundreds of billions of pages, to create something called an index. Think of it as the giant library we look through whenever you do a search for lasagna or anything else. Now, the word lasagna shows up a lot on the web. Pages about the history of lasagna, articles by scientists whose last name happened to be lasagna, stuff other people might be looking for. But if you're hungry, randomly clicking through millions of links is no fun. This is where Google's ranking algorithms come into play. First, they try to understand what you're looking for, so they can be helpful even if you don't know exactly the right words to use or if your spelling is a little off. Then they sift through millions of possible matches in the index and automatically assemble a page that tries to put the most relevant information up top for you to choose from. Okay, now we have some results. But how did the algorithms actually decide what made it onto the first page? There are hundreds of factors that go into ranking search results, so let's talk about a few of them. You may already know that pages containing the words you search for are more likely to end up at the top. No surprise there. But the location of those words, like in the page's title or in an image's caption, those are factors too. There's a lot more to ranking than just words. Back when Google got started, we looked at how pages link to each other to better understand what pages were about and how important and trustworthy they seemed. Today, linking is still an important factor. Another factor is location, where a search happens. Because if you happen to be in Ormea, Italy, you might be looking for information about their annual lasagna festival. But if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, you probably aren't. When a web page was uploaded is an important factor too. Pages published more recently often have more accurate information, especially in the case of a rapidly developing news story. Of course, not every site on the web is trying to be helpful. Just like with robocalls on your phone or spam in your email, there are a lot of sites that only exist to scam, and every day scammers upload millions more of them. So just because instantvirusdownload.net lists the words lasagna recipe 400 times, that doesn't mean it's going to help you make dinner. We spend a lot of time trying to stay one step ahead of tricks like these, making sure our algorithms can recognize scam sites and flag them before they make it to your search results page. So let's review. Billions of times a day, whenever someone searches for lasagna, or resume writing tips, or how to swaddle a baby, or anything else, Google software locates all the potentially relevant results on the web, removes all the spam, and ranks them based on hundreds of factors like keywords, links, location, and freshness. Okay, good time to take a breath.
Cool. So hopefully that's helped a little bit, and that's a bit clearer as to what is actually going on behind the scenes with Google. So if we look at their ranking algorithm, basically what they're telling us is there are a number of different factors that affect your search engine ranking. And these are broken down on this slide here. And there are over 200 different factors, but these are the sort of groupings of the different areas, okay? So the top right, if we start there and go clockwise, top right is infrastructure. So this is the security. We spoke about the HTTPS already, and the page loading time is key. So that's why I was talking about reducing the size of the images. But that audit that you ran first thing this morning will give you some insight into that. So that's the sort of technical infrastructure for your website, the speed it's going to load, how old your website is, etc. Next up is the on-site technical. So this is all about your tags, so getting keyword tags in your page title, page description, etc., making sure that your internal URLs, your page names, and your basically what comes after the first backslash. So your page name is part of the URL, and that should be consistent and include keywords as well. And you should have internal links between your pages. Then you've got on-site content, which of course is the bulk of the words on your pages. So what we were just talking about was writing content around phrases that people are searching for, and Google wants to see hundreds of words of content about your topic. So it's looking for content which utilizes keywords that people search for, and content of a reasonable length that's readable and is unique. Okay. Then you've got the engagement. Now this is Google's got this thing called Rank Brain, which is some software that looks at what do people do when they get to your website? How long do they spend on your website? What do they click on? What's the bounce rate? And that's a measure of how many people that leave straight away. So Google is looking at all that data as well, and particularly if you install Google Analytics. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow afternoon, but that's Google's analytics package. And if you install that on your website, that actually gives Google a lot more data to go on for this engagement section. And that can actually give you a bit of a leg up. There's anecdotal evidence that seems to suggest that installing Google Analytics basically helps your SEO because it gives Google more data on your website. Okay. Then moving around, we've got the offsite links. So this is external links to your website from other places. Okay, so this is basically other websites linking to your website. So you can see that's a significant factor in terms of all the different areas. This is probably as important as the content on your site is the links to your site coming from other websites. Okay, so getting inbound links is really important. Then you've got a little bit on offsite social, so that's social metrics around your website, people tweeting, pinning, liking, commenting on your social assets linked to your website, or mentioning your website address in a social post. And then you've got the offsite local, which is your business information correlating to some real business. So this is what I was talking about earlier with the address for your business on your website, matching the Google Business Directory, for your business appearing in other citation listings, so other business directory listings, and also it's the reviews on third-party review sites. So that gives you kind of heads up of the topics that we're talking about here. And if you get this right and you do all these things, then you can get your websites on the first page of Google. And there's one of my other businesses in the music industry doing just that in the bottom right-hand side there. So things to do. Firstly, check that your website has been indexed by Google. So to do that, you go to Google, you put in site : and then you put in your website address, and that will tell you all the pages on your site that have been indexed by Google. And you should see the number of results should match the number of pages that your website actually has. Okay, so try that now. If you've got another window open, pop to another window, do site : and your website address. And if you get no results found, what that means is that your website does not appear on Google's radar, i.e. it hasn't been indexed by Google. Now, that's not as surprising as you might think, because what can happen is that unless you actually tell Google about your website, it doesn't know that it exists. There's nothing automatic that adds your website into Google's index. You need to tell Google that you have a new website, and you need to ask it to add your website into their index. Okay, so how do you do that? I hear you ask. Let me tell you. You go here, you go to search.google.com/search console, and on there what you can do is you can put your website address in, and basically you're asking Google to index your site. You're asking Google to add your site to their index. Okay, so that's where you go and add your site to Google's index. Now, in terms of checking where you rank for different keywords currently, this is a useful tool which you can use for checking what your search engine rankings currently are. So this is serprobot.com. And what you can do is you can put in keywords there that you're interested in, put in your domain name, and it'll basically just tell you where do you rank currently for that keyword. So it might say for this keyword, you currently rank position number 10, for this one, 27, for this one, 334, whatever it might be. So this is a free tool just for checking search engine ranking for a particular keyword against your domain. Now, in terms of what keywords do you want to be optimizing your site for? Where is the money? This is a really important concept to grasp. And that is that you should be going for long tail phrases, long tail keyword phrases. And what long tail means is multi-word phrases. So if you look at this graph here, this shows you searches for the keyword trainers, okay, have high cost, high competition, but very low probability of conversion. Somebody who just goes to Google and types in trainers, the chances of them buying some trainers are pretty damn low today, because they might have actually been looking for personal trainers, not shoe trainers. If somebody searched for Adidas trainers, a bit more likely to buy something, but not very specific. But if they searched for something like Adidas Yeezy Boost trainers, they are probably ready to buy. They've already decided what the model is they're interested in. They're just looking for who sells them and who's got the right color, the right size in stock, and they're going to buy. So a couple of important metrics. Firstly, that 70% of all searches are long tail searches. So of all the different things that people type into search engines, 70%, that's more than 2/3 of them, are multi-word phrases. But they're the ones with the buyer intent. They're the ones that people are likely to buy stuff from. And the average conversion rate is 36% of those people typing in long word phrases are likely to buy something. If not today, then imminently. Okay. So what this means is you should be optimizing your site for long keyword phrases, these long tail keyword phrases, multi-word phrases. That's where the money is at. So how do you find out what are the phrases that people are searching for? What are these long tail phrases? What you do is you can use a keyword research tool. Now, the one that we sort of use and recommend is this one. It's called SEM Rush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out in another window and just log into this tool and show you what it actually looks like in action. So let me just log in. Okay, I've logged in. Let me just resume the share with you there. Cool. So you can see that. So this is a tool. It's actually a suite of tools. It does a whole load of different things for internet marketers, but we're particularly interested right now in keyword research. So I'm going to go on the left to this keyword magic tool. And if I type in a phrase like estate agent, as soon as we got one of those on the line, I'm interested in the UK. It's going to tell me what are the phrases that people search for in the context of estate agent. Now, estate agents, people are going to be searching for regional qualifiers, but also brand qualifiers, right? So often people know the name of the one that they're looking for. They've searched for a particular brand of estate agent, or they've searched for maybe a location. So they might have searched for a particular phrase, but you're probably also going to find some more specific phrases like unique estate agent. So maybe people that deal with unique kind of property. You've got a load of regional ones down here. So people search regionally, they search for estate agents in Brighton. So straight away, if you're an estate agent and you cover, I think it was South London or Southwest London, some good keywords for you are going to be estate agent South London, Southwest London, but then also estate agent, name all of the boroughs and the areas in your patch, right? So that might be estate agent Wimbledon. It might be estate agent, excuse my geography, don't hang out in Southwest London very much. What else is over that way? Wimbledon, and you know better than me. Other bits of Southwest London. Roger, help. Where's in Southwest London? Simon never goes there. So all those different regions in Southwest London, all those little boroughs in your area would all be keywords. Also, your competitors' brand names, right? So you could look for traffic for people that are searching for your competitors' brands, or even the big chains like Foxtons or something like that. you could have those as keywords that you focus on, because basically you could kind of get some traffic for people searching. Oh, like Roger's come to save me. Bromley, Roger, that's not southwest, that's southeast. Even I know that. But I'll give you Twickenham. That's over that way. Woking, Esher, Epsom. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. That was Marilyn gave me those ones. Yeah. Marilyn's the winner there, Roger. I think Croydon's a bit questionable. Southwest is a bit south central, really, I think. Bromley, southeast. Twickenham, I'll give you 1 out of 3, Rog. Must try harder. Marilyn, you did well. 3 out of 3. Woking, Esher, Epsom. Cool. So you get the idea. So this is so. Let's take another one of the topics that we had. Let's just look at travel overseas as a phrase. Let's see what comes up here. So these are kind of phrases that people search for: overseas travel advice, overseas travel essentials. And maybe if we added the word risk for Alexander's business, we might get some more specific phrases that are related to risk. So risk assessments, risk management plans, risk assessments. So lots of risk assessment type phrases. So again, we get some insights into some kind of phrases that people might search for about risk. Another phrase people might use is something to do with the word safe. So you get the idea. So you can use this tool to find what are the phrases that people search for in the context of your business. Let's do another one for Marilyn. Seeing as she found us some nice places in Southwest London, we'll have a look for anxiety. And you can get lots of ideas for what are the kind of phrases that people search for. So anxiety symptoms, anxiety attacks, anxiety medication, symptoms of anxiety, anxiety test. These are all topics that you could easily create content on your website, and you could focus some SEO around those phrases, because this is the things that people are looking for, and they're in order of volume of searches for those things. Okay, so that gives you some insight into that. Cool. Let's go back to the slide. So that's SEMrush, which you can get for a free trial on that link. So it is a paid for service, but you can use it free for a week or 10 days on that link. And so that's going to be enough for most of you to research and find some keywords for your business. So you don't need to pay for it unless you've got lots and lots of websites like me, in which case I don't mind paying for it. Okay, another useful tool is this one, surferseo.com. And what this does is as a plugin for your browser, and it puts that kind of data we were just looking at, but it puts a little box of it over on the right-hand side. So every time you do a search on Google, it tells you what are the top search keywords that relate to that phrase over on the right-hand side, and you can just grab those off to your clipboard just by pressing the button at the top. So it's another keyword research tool that's free, not quite as in-depth as the one I just showed you, but gives you the kind of top 20 or so related keywords to any phrase right there in your search engine when you're actually doing searches. So on that graph I showed you a while back, where we broke down what are the categories that Google thought were important. There are a number of different things, and one of the areas was the sort of on-page optimization, which is all this kind of stuff. So this is all the places that you need to get the keyword that you want to rank for. So you should get your keyword into the page title, the page description, into the page name URL, into the heading, into the first paragraph of the text, into any images that you feature on your site, into the image alt text, into the subheadings. And if you're linking to this page from anywhere else, you should link on keywords that this page is all about. So in this case, you'll see the example there is the page is about SEO metrics. So there's a link from another page on the website, and the words that are linked are the words SEO metrics. So this is all the things you need to do for on-page optimization. So what you should do is, for your website, for each page of content on your site, you should decide what is the phrase, what is the one phrase I would like this page to rank for, and then go and do all these things. Go and put that keyword phrase into the page title, the page description, the page name, the page heading, etc., etc. Because every place that you get the keyword is getting you points, and points make prizes. The more points you get, the higher up the search engines you come. So that's all the places you should get your keyword in the on-page optimization side of things. This just shows you the power of tagging images. When you add images on your web page, you've got the file name, you've got the file description, and you've also got this other field called the alt text tag. Now, if you in those fields, put a keyword phrase that you want to rank for. What that means is that's tagged the picture now with that phrase. And that means that if someone's searching on Google, they're searching on Google Images, or sometimes they just search on Google Search, you get images coming out on the first page of Google as well from the Google image search. And this is just a great example, because actually every one of the images that comes out here, excuse me, I'm not sure where that music just came from. Every one of those images is actually an image on one of my websites, one of my business's websites. But we've just tagged those with the phrase NOMS careers, because NOMS is the National Offender Management Service. So anyone who's sort of in or associated with that area would know the phrase NOMS careers, and that's a phrase that they search for on Google. Because we've tagged those images with that phrase, if someone searches for NOMS careers online, there's a good chance they're going to see one of those images from our page coming up, and you see some of those images are actually effectively a free advert, because it's a picture of the book and saying, hey, would you like to become a prison officer, for example, right? And even the title is Become a Prison Officer, the Ultimate Guide. So you've kind of got another source of free traffic just from tagging images. So that just is an example of the power of tagging the images with keyword phrases that people are searching for on your site. Next up is broken link checking. Google penalizes you massively if your website has broken links, dead links, links that don't go anywhere. So it's important that you tag images. Sorry, it's important that you check your site has not got any broken links. Now you could do that manually by clicking on any link that you have on your site that goes to an external resource every day and checking it still works, but that would be quite tedious to do. What Broken Link Checker plugin, which is free for WordPress, does is it just checks every link every day and sends you an email if any of them are dead. And of course, this happens when a place that you've linked out to doesn't renew their domain name, goes out of business, restructures their website so the page names change. So this is quite a common thing, that whenever you link to someone else's resource, of course the internet isn't a static thing and people change, businesses come and go. So you can accidentally and inadvertently end up with a dead link on your website. And if you do, that's going to hurt your search engine ranking. So free plugin, Broken Link Checker, really good. This is a share plugin. It's called Sassy Social Share. And what this does is it gives you these icons on your website where you can link to your social channels. So again, it's a WordPress plugin. And when you install this, it's going to ask you for what are the links to your relevant social pages. And it's going to put those little icons on your page so that Google can see you've got a link to social assets all built in. And it's going to tick the box with Google. And then, of course, customers that come to your website can easily just click off to your social channels as well. So Sassy Social Share is a free plugin for WordPress. Now, there is a really good plugin for WordPress for SEO, which is called Yoast. So like toast, but with a Y. And what Yoast does is it actually gives you a kind of traffic light system. So for any page on your site, what you can do is you can enter the keyword that you want that page to rank for, and then it will tell you what have you done well, what could you do better, and what do you absolutely need to sort out. So you can see here we've put an example in of a phrase that we want to rank for. So we want to rank for the phrase email marketing. And if we go from the bottom up, so this is a page where we've got the keyword in the title. That's good. We've got a green light for that. We've used it. We've not used it before, so that's good. It's a good length of key phrase. Email marketing, great. And we've got internal links. So there's links from this page to other pages. That's good. But if we move up, we see we haven't set the image tags. So it's given us a little orange for that. Could do better. And then move up a bit more. It's telling us the text length on the page is only 164 words, and it should be at least 300 words of content. So we're getting a red mark for that. We haven't got a meta description set. We haven't got the key phrase in the subheading. So basically, using this, it will automatically coach you on how to optimize your page. You just tell it the phrase you want to rank for, and it tells you what it is that you need to do. And actually, you'll see the blue text there is hyperlinked. So if you click on one of those, it explains how do you do that. It explains what you need to do in order to meet that criteria. So this is a free tool to basically optimize the pages on your site. It's called Yoast. It's a plugin for WordPress. So that's the on-site stuff covered. So if we just recap on that, we've spoken about getting the keyword in all the right places, so in the page title, page description, etc. And we've spoken about the kind of technical things with your website as well. Now we're going to move on and talk about the external factors to your website. This is things that basically amount to link building, getting links from other websites linking to your website, okay? And there are two reasons for this. Firstly, if you've got a link going to your website from some other third-party website, that means that if someone is visiting that other website and they see the link to your website, there is a chance they might click on that link to your website, come over to your website and buy your stuff. So of course, that is a chance of a way of getting new traffic, right? By definition, every one of those orange arrows is a new traffic source for your website, i.e. it's a new way that people could arrive at your website. So that's the first reason. But the second reason is that Google actually counts up how many of those orange arrows there are, i.e. they count how many other websites have linked to your website. And basically you get points for every link to your website. The more points you get, the more prizes you get, the higher up the search engines you get. So Google rewards you for getting links coming to your website, okay? So it's important, and you saw from the graph earlier, it's about 21% of all search factor is actually inbound links. It's links from external websites coming to your website. So you need to be getting links coming to your site. So firstly, to benchmark where you're at, you can see what links you've got coming to your site already using this free tool. It's from moz.com/link explorer. And you put in your website address and it'll give you a count up of how many websites currently link to your site. Now, as an aside, you can also use this on your competitors' websites as well. You can see how many links your competitors have got to their website. And really coolly, it will also tell you where did they get their links from. Because, of course, that's really useful information to know. If you know where your competitors got their links from, you can get links from the same places too, okay? Also, there is a free plugin for Chrome called SEO Quake. And what that does is it gives you some extra data under your results page. So I'm just actually going to jump out to Google and just show you this for real in another window. So let me just go out to Google and I'm going to do a search. Okay, let me just show you the screen again. Cool. So you've got that on screen. So this is what a normal Google results page looks like. But up here in the top left, so I've got my cursor there, you can see there's a little slider on-off button. If I turn that on, what that does is you can see I've got all this extra data that has popped out below each listing. And what that does gives me extra data about that website. And what's of particular interest, it tells me things like when was the website registered. But what I'm more interested in is this number here. There's LD and then there's a number. Because what that is that stands for linking domains. That tells me where has this website got links from and how many has it got. So this website has got 54,156 inbound links. There are 54,000 websites that link to this website. But if I click on that, what it does is it takes me here and it gives me a list of all of the websites that have linked to that particular site. So you can see they've got a link from this website, simplyelectrics.co.uk. Great. So you could now go and have a look at Simply Electrics and see if you can get a link from that website yourself. So this is a great way of getting backlinks, is just look at where your competitors got their links from. And rather than reinventing the wheel, starting with a blank sheet of paper, you can just go and look at all the places that everybody else got links from and get links from the same places. Okay, so where are you going to get links from? Basically all these kind of things, and you'll find that the links that your competitors got links from, sites they got links from, are things like blogs, forums, news, press releases, social bookmarking, etc. So these are all the kind of categories of websites that might link to you. But the easiest way to get links to your site is just go and see where everybody else got them from, because in any industry there'll be like different industry forums, there'll be different industry blogs, there'll be different industry directory sites. So all of those kind of places is going to be where your competitors have got from. Plus they would have created content and that content being shared online has got them inbound links every time the content got shared, because they embedded their website link within the content. Okay. So some other ideas on creating content specifically to get you links. And effectively, this is like Trojan horse link building. So if you create something valuable, then people will start sharing it. But if within the thing that they're sharing, there is a link back to your website, obviously that's getting you new inbound links every time this thing gets posted online. So you could write maybe a beginner's guide to your particular niche. You could do a weekly or monthly news roundup. You could start your own blog. You could take someone else's content and add value to it. You could repurpose something in different media. You could do an interview series and interview experts in your marketplace. You could do a weekly how-to video, etc., etc. So lots and lots of ideas here for how you could create content to get links to your website. I don't need to read all of those out. You've got the slides. You can read those. Another really good tool that I use is this one. It's called Google Alerts. And what Google Alerts does is basically it's a free service, and you give it a keyword phrase you're interested in, and then every day it will send you a summary of the most popular articles published on the internet in the last 24 hours that related to that keyword. So for example, I've got it set on phrases like internet marketing and social media. So every day I get an email from Google listing me the most popular articles that were published online in the last 24 hours related to internet marketing. And this is great because I've got a never-ending stream of topics to put, say, in a newsletter. We've got a newsletter coming out this week, but because I've got this thing turned on, I've just got constant stream of ideas for content that I could be talking about, commenting on, sharing with my audience, because I've turned this tool on. So it's a free tool. Go to google.co.uk/alerts, and then just put in a keyword phrase that relates to your industry. Set the frequency to be daily. Then every day you're going to get content ideas coming at you from Google for free, which is great. We love free. Now, in terms of building links to your website, we've spoken about how you can find where your competitors have got links from, but it's actually not very exciting work to go and email blog owners or to write content and post on third-party websites, etc. So often people outsource this, and if you go onto Fiverr.com, you can find people that will go and get you links very, very cheaply. So you can see some examples here where people are getting you links for literally just a few pounds. 62 high powerful backlinks for £3.97, 60 for £7.93, 101 for £11.90. Okay, so Fiverr is a great place to go. Just check the feedback score, and don't be tempted for anyone that's offering crazy things like 1,000 backlinks for £4. If they offer that many, they're going to be doing that with software, and that's probably going to do you more harm than good. So if they're offering you 60 links and it's, say in this example, £8, that's manual work, right? Someone can do that. It will take about a minute per link. So 60 is going to take about an hour. An hour's work in somewhere like the Philippines for £8 is a pretty good salary. So it kind of makes sense. But if they're offering thousands or tens of thousands for the same prices, steer clear of those ones. Other things to avoid are slow web page load time. Okay, you can really get penalized now if your website loads slow. So hopefully you ran that audit first thing this morning, and that would have tested your page load time. There's also a Google tool here you can use that'll check your page load time. Other things Google hates are using the same color text as background and trying to hide things, is buying links, is using software generated links, is stealing other people's stuff by breaching someone else's copyright, or being lazy and just duplicating content, the same content on multiple pages of your site. What people used to do is just make one page of content and then just duplicate it on 10 different pages of their site. So it looked like they had more content on their site, but it was all the same. Google hates that stuff, and it will penalize you if you do any of those things. Okay, so don't be tempted to do any of that naughtiness. Not here. Okay. This is the same tool we used earlier for keyword research, but it also has a feature in it for running and tracking search engine ranking. So what you can do is you can tell it the keyword you're interested in, and it will run you a regular report on where you rank for those keywords. Now, this is particularly of interest to any of you thinking about becoming an SEO consultant and providing digital marketing services to business owners, because you can use this tool to produce a white labeled report for your clients each week or each month and show them, what you've done for them and how your rankings are improving over time. So if you want to generate reports showing you what you're doing, then this is great for you to use for yourself, but also you can use it to produce white label reports that you can drop your brand on and then deliver that to clients as well.